You might be sick, but not with a traditional disease. It's a powerful, yet ignored issue that 1 in 10 men deal with. This parasite has taken money, relationships, and time away from you. Think about it. Research shows it can double the risk of divorce for married couples. It can steal nearly 100 hours of your time every single year. It's a silent epidemic, and it's time to talk about it. If your doctor said you're showing signs of Alzheimer's disease without a second thought, you would find a way to prevent it from getting worse. So why do you ignore the detrimental addiction of lust? You know what I'm talking about. Every scroll, every dopamine grab, every unconscious influence. It's rewiring your brain for pleasure, not purpose. You're not just wasting time. You're feeding a habit that steals your clarity, purpose, and potential.
Be real, this isn't entertainment, it's a brain hijack. That hypersexualized content is a shot of dopamine that hits your limbic brain and lights it up like Las Vegas. It's crucial to understand that hypersexualized content isn't just available, it's designed. It's intentionally structured to hijack your brain's reward system, delivering a dopamine payload that real-life intimacy, with all its beautiful complexity, can't release as quickly. The cost of this design? Your focus. With every scroll, every click, you're not just watching, you're training your mind. This is why you can sit down to do deep work and an hour later, find yourself still scrolling. Your brain isn't looking for satisfaction. It's obeying the command for more that it's been trained to follow. I was no different. One failed pitch, not just nerves. It was my brain in chains. I trained it to crave distraction, not discipline. Let's connect history to this moment. In the 1920s, advertisers discovered the power of selling emotions, called sensationalism. You manufacture craving by tapping into the powerful driving emotions. Fast forward to today, and that same principle has been put on steroids. Platforms don't just tap into emotions, they target our most ancient survival drives, scarcity and pleasure. They weaponize sexuality to capture short attention spans. That's why scrolling is more than a waste of time, it's a tax on your mental infrastructure. Every scroll wears down your mental stamina. Think back to your day yesterday. How often did you space out in the middle of doing something, or have an itch to check on that buzz? How often did you refresh your feed? That wasn't you. That was the hijack at work.
You can't willpower your way out of this. You tried. You vowed off TikTok. You removed Instagram for a week, but by day 3 you were back. Why? Because this isn't a moral failure, it's a neurological trap. Willpower is a flashlight. It runs out when the battery dies. What you need is rewiring, not temporary resistance. After all, you've already given your brain months or even years of dedicated practice in the lustful direction. The good news is that you can change course. You won't undo that work in a weekend, just like someone who's training for a marathon doesn't go out and attempt to run 26 miles on the first day. You don't dismantle a neural loop in a day. Why most fail is that they try to fight this like it's some kind of bad habit. It's not. It's a deep neural pattern, with years of synthetic stimulation reinforcing it. Let me ask you, when you're bored or anxious, what's your first impulse? Scroll, swipe, or escape? You're not choosing, you're reacting. That's the issue. Here's a truth no one wants to hear. Most people don't scroll for entertainment. They scroll to avoid themselves, to silence the voice inside that says, you're behind, you're not building anything. Distraction becomes identity, and breaking that feels like death. That's why cold turkey rarely works. Your brain will scream for the old stimulus because it doesn't yet know new reward pathways. So what does work? Replacement. You don't erase pathways, you override them. When the craving hits, you switch the loop. Instead of scrolling for the hit, you learn to breathe for presence. Instead of searching for pleasure, you reflect for intention. This isn't spiritual mumbo-jumbo, it's neuroscience, meant to correct those poorly trained habits. So let me be clear. If you failed to break this in the past, it's not because you're cursed. It's because nobody taught you how to rewire your triggers. Here's how you actually rewire your brain. Not with hype, not with shame, but with a simple reset protocol. I call it the 3 R's. Reclaim, retrain, redefine. Step 1. Reclaim. This is the hardest part. It's where you clean your inputs. Your mind is a garden. Whatever you allow in will grow, silently spreading its weeds until it takes over. Here's the input you should keep an eye on. Unfollowing the individuals who feed you the lustful content. Blanco those energy-wasting websites. Surrounding yourself with what you want to become. It'll feel weird at first. That's withdrawal. And it's the first step to a new you.
You'll be starving yourself from a craving that used to own you, but every disciplined no gets you closer to the real you. Step 2. Retrain. You don't just subtract, you rebuild. The most effective tool? Meditation. And no, it's not a fluffy tactical focus training. Start small, like 5 minutes, just your breath. When your mind wanders, return it. Each return is a mental rep. This is the gym for your brain. You're not attempting to be still, you're training for control. You want to desexualize your brain? You must slow it down. Stop the autopilot. Every focused breath is a dagger through distraction. The final step is redefine. This is your anchor. Why are you doing this? For me, I wanted to love without lust. I wanted control of my actions and eyes. It got to a point where I had to face the truth. What kind of man am I if I can't control my own eyes? For you, maybe it's presence, maybe it's purpose. Write it down and live it. Because when temptation whispers, your why roars louder. This isn't a theory, this was my lifeline. The protocol isn't magic, but it is battle-tested. You're not losing to temptation, you're losing to your lack of a plan. Now you've got the protocol, but tools without structure fall flat.
Now let's talk about one of the biggest factors, your environment. Because here's what most people miss. Your brain follows the patterns, and those patterns are built by your environment. Think about it. If you were to go into a barber shop, what are you likely going to do there? Get a haircut. So, when you go on that website, you're literally pushing yourself to make the decision of choking the chicken. When you go on her page, I can bet you'll be scrolling with lustful eyes for hours. The first sign is if your phone sleeps next to you, because guess who's winning that war? The habit, not you. Willpower crumbles in the wrong environment. Alright, so here's the battle strategy. Turn your bedroom into a fortress. The first thing to do is have a phone ban. No phone in the bedroom. Charge it in the kitchen. Buy an old school alarm clock. Whenever your phone is not necessary, separate yourself from it. The second method is swapping your nightstand. Trade out the temptation. Have a book or a journal. Something to occupy your mind to make quietness easy. Initially, you'll feel the temptation, the craving. That's a positive sign. That's proof the addiction was real. Every night you fight that craving is a brick in your wall. The third method, design your daily launch pad. If you were in a life or death battle, you'd want the upper hand. The same is true here. Every day you're in a constant fight with lust. When the first thing you do is go on your phone, you're losing your advantage by opening the door to lust. Instead, splash your face with water and walk around. It wouldn't be a bad idea to say good morning to your parents, because if we're being honest, it really is that damn phone. Don't go near the phone. I'm sure you've heard that from an online alpha daddy mogul, but I must admit it is true, because your first action becomes your default momentum. When you start reactive and stay reactive. The final and perhaps most crucial design is app barriers. Block apps with real limits. Don't override them! If you do, please remind yourself you're the only one giving up on your goals. Replace the platforms designed for mindless consumption with tools designed to get you to your goals. All these behemoth companies know the value of your attention, so protect it like the gold it is! I'm not saying this will be easy. I'm saying it will be worth it, because this is no longer about breaking a habit. It's about building an identity. And a powerful identity is forged where discipline and design collide. Most people fail because their environment makes quitting harder. Yours should do the exact opposite. If you want real, lasting change, this cannot be a temporary detox. It can't be a challenge that you take on for a few days and then forget. This has to become rhythm, a new cadence your life runs on. Because discipline isn't an event, it's a lifestyle. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. One little decision, one little victory, completed every single day. That is how you rewire the brain. That is how you stop lust from writing your story. And it's critical that you view your morning as launch pads. You wake up, you move your body, you hydrate, you think clearly. Not by accident, but by design. You train your mind to look forward, not down. You train your body to be your friend, not a slave to whim. At night, you purposefully conclude your day,
You give your brain closure, not confusion. You read something that uplifts. You shut down the machines. You step away from the screens and into the quiet. Even if it's one action, it's still a brick in your wall. After 30 days of that rhythm, you've completed hundreds of repetitions, thousands of seconds in charge. You've put in new circuits in your brain, circuits that fight for your future, not steal from it. You haven't just resisted temptation, you've replaced it. Every no to distraction is a yes to purpose. Every time you choose clarity, you're rejecting the noise. You're saying, I won't be rewired by culture, I'll rewrite myself. But these aren't habits by themselves. This is reinforcement, daily, repeated, and relentless. Because if you don't repeat the good things, your brain reverts to the bad ones. And let me say this, don't do it alone. That's where most dudes drop the ball. They think they've got it under control. They think silence is strength. But accountability, that's armor. Tell somebody, build structure, post your streaks, join a group, or even text a friend. And if you mess up, you don't ghost. You reboot. You don't disappear. You reset.
This rhythm isn't controlled, it's freedom. The kind of freedom that enables you to walk into any room, look anyone in the eye, and know you're not battling shame, you're building legacy. As a last piece of wisdom, if any of this has helped you, smash the like and subscribe button because my Mr. Upload weekly to get you 1% better every day. Remember, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now.